Sam here. I'm actually going to do a really cool haircut that's great for hair that's long and one length that's really afraid of layers. So I want to create some seamless layers, but at the same time, she wants no type of fringe, so I got to be aware of that. She has an existing long fringe, but I don't really want to cut any type of fringe that's blunt or anything that's a curtain fringe or anything like that. So I got the razor, and watch what I'm going to do with this. And I'm also going to work with some One United. I'm going to work with that. So look at the sectioning that I have as I turn her around to you. You can see I separated front to the back, then I separated center back here. Then what I did was divide front to back and center back. I divide that to what we refer to as the corner of the head. I did that system on both sides in terms of what we're doing, okay, on both sides. Now, once I have my sectioning, what I want to do is I'm going to take horizontal sections within what we refer to as a bevel of the head. What's interesting is when I place my comb here, you can see the comb comes off at that line and off at this line. I'm going to start in the right corner, right of center, not the corner back yet. So I'm going to go right of center. First thing I'm going to do, watch how I'm going to work with these clips too, just so I control myself. Notice I'm going to take a clip, I'm going to place it there, so that if I want to recut this section, I'm going to be able to recut the section. Next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to tilt her head this direction, okay? And I want to maintain length, but I just want to give her nice long layers. So I look where, see how that hair folds, where the C end, the C curvature ends, that's where I'm going to start. I'm going to pull this up, elevate straight up vertically. I'll give you a front view of that, okay? I'm going to elevate that vertically. I'm going to look where it bends. Now I'm going to cut we're using a razor, get my the proper angle, and I'm going to go from short to long. Okay, now once I've done that, look how the section is controlled. Okay, let's take a look at what we just did. Look how I just cut that short to long. Now I'm going to take this section that I have here, and I'm going to come through, and I'm going to grab a clip. Okay, so I went right to left, so I'm going to point the clip going right to left. That's going to tell me, if I'm having a conversation with a client, that's going to tell me the place where I left off. That's critical. My next horizontal section, I'm going to cut this one the opposite way, going short to long. So because I'm right-handed, what I'm going to do is I'm going to jump on the other side and cut this on the other side. So I'm going to stand on the other side. I'm going to read the hair again, where it naturally times to bend, and I start to cut short to long. And yes, my friends, I'm using a razor on dry hair. You know, you can say I'm breaking a rule. I was taught you don't do that, but nowadays I do. And now let's take a look at this angle. I just cut this one short to long, going the opposite direction. Now I'm going to put that away. Notice how I take the clip the opposite direction. Now I take my next horizontal section, and then what I'm going to do is I'm not going to cut into this, because I'm going to leave some weight there for her. Okay, so now look at what I did. I just forgot what direction. That clip told me you went short to long this direction. So now I'm going to come through. I'm going to stand. Notice how when I want to go, because I'm right-handed, I'll stand on the opposite side. So then I'm able to take this short to long. The angle of the razor is important. I do not want this perpendicular to the hair that I pick up. I want an angle in it so I can just basically just peel through that section. Let's examine these. Short to long, okay? Now watch when I bring this down and I start to tickle, you can just start to see how she gets these really soft layers. When the wind catches it, that's when you're going to see it. But if I comb this out and you get in here and you can see it, the layers don't really pop out. And this is going to give her some movement. When I tickle that, you start to see it. So now let's move to the opposite side. When I cut, I like to move from one side to the opposite side. I don't like to go on, cut the whole side and then come back and try to balance it. Your mindset is working here. Let's just move to the opposite side of that. So now once this is cut, here's what I'm gonna do. So you're probably thinking, Sam, is there a guide? No, there's no guide. There's no guide. Sam, what do you call this? This is something I did way back that I brought back called the shift. I'm just shifting the angles from one side to the opposite direction. Okay, coming this side. I'm right-handed, so I always know my first section goes short to long. Sam, is the goal to actually blend this? No, remember what I said, it's not a blended haircut. Let's read, see where the bend is. Great, natural bend. I go short. Oops. Look at that. Put a clip. Why, Sam? Because if I cut this and then it falls, now I'm trying to find that section again. So when I let this go, the clip will separate what needs to be cut and what has been cut. Once again, let's go find where we're at. There I am. Very light-handed with a razor. A razor is an emotional tool. The tighter you hold it, the more hair you're going to take off. So really be soft with your hands. The weight of your hands really take care of that. My next horizontal section, okay, placing that down. Relax. If I want something soft, then I need to relax my hands, relax my mindset. I'm not looking for something that's so precise when I'm going through and cutting this. Now I'm just adding some nice long strokes, about medium to long. They're not short strokes because I want a really nice soft layer in this. Okay, let's take this and place this away. Notice how I place each section away. Notice how I reverse the way that that's turned. This will be my last section. So if you think about it, I'm cutting about 3 sections within each bevel, and then I leave the rest alone. Let's see where I'm at. Nope, I'm not standing on the wrong side. Look at the clip. So now I need to stand here. Watch me read. See, I just let it bounce. Boom, right there, about right there is where I'm gonna start this. And now I go short to long. So you're probably thinking, well, Sam, how would you recut this? I would not go in and do this same thing. I would simply lift it, maybe point cut it, start to create balance in it, and then every other haircut that she comes in, I'll take the shift approach and just start to shift the angles. Okay, now watch this, drop the center back from corner to corner. Okay, I don't know about you, my friends, but I really challenge myself to discover other ways to cut what I do. So if I can find 5, 6 ways to cut a 1-length bob, I will do that. And the reason I will do that is because there's danger in the comfort zone. I really believe there's danger in the comfort zone. And you gotta really just be careful in terms of what you're doing. Okay, really liking the way that's fitting. So now I'm gonna shift over to the back to the right side, behind her ear. Okay, once again, I'm working with horizontal sections. Okay, clipping underneath, jumping to the opposite side, folding the hair just to get a visual, soft visual read, and working short to long. Okay, now I'm gonna take this section, leaving it up. I just lift up, grab my clip, I went short to long this direction. I'm gonna go short to long the opposite direction. Okay, you gotta be careful sometimes when you move towards that front. When you move towards that front, you're gonna find it's not as dense, meaning there's not as much hair. So you might wanna maybe just do the 2 top sections and not the entire section. When I work with a razor, I overlap my middle finger over my index. This calms that space down. If I do this, you can see there's gaps in between there, and I can see the white backdrop there. So just overlapping gives you the tension that you need when you cut with a razor. Okay, taking the last section that I just cut, checking it short to long, and I shift my clip this direction. This will be my last one right here. I want to leave some weight right behind that ear area there. And just take it, just fill that area in. See, I just looked at it and just filled it in, meaning my horizontal line there is not as strong as what I've been doing. I just took some hair out to fill the gap that I saw behind her ear. Okay, dropping this down. Remember, it's almost like creating these ghost layers for her and not overly layering this hair. You can just start to see the effect when I tickle, the effect that I get. Now I'm going the left side to the section that sits behind the ear. Okay, horizontal section. I think rhythm and consistency in terms of how you're cutting and staying control is so important when you choose to create some type of erratic pattern as what I'm working with. So you really want to stay in control. Let's go right to left. Okay, so once again, I'm up, come through, slide my hand down to where I think I want to start that length, because you're going to get a number of different reads and a number of different when you fold, you'll get a number of different reads. You know, if the client's fragile, meaning they're scared and frightened of layers, I'd suggest you leave it a little bit longer. Okay, taking that clip, it went right to left, so I'm gonna point right to left, taking my next section, and I'm going to continue to take my sections horizontal. Look at the rhythm, place my clip, come to the opposite side. Now, there's no way I can cut this short to long here by standing on that side. It's so critical that you stand on the side because I'm right-handed. This naturally puts me in a position where I can approach the angle that I want to create. Okay, working my way down, knowing that I was standing on that side. I'm going to go here. I'm at that fragile area, that ear. I'm going to go to it. Look how I'll look at that, see what's there. I'm going to drop that corner right there down just to fill in a little bit. Okay. Now I'm going to come through. I'm looking to see where my angle was, this direction, and I'm going to come through. I love doing this when I have a client that's fragile or anyone that wants some layers, but they're afraid of layers in regards to how short they are or how aggressive they actually are. Okay. Now let's just take a look at the back. And you can just see how I'm getting that. Now watch, when I start to touch this, look how I just get that sense of frothiness and you get more of a little silhouette. It's that kind of puffy volume that I happen to be talking about right now for this season in 2025. But I just like the texture of how that's looking, and she tickles it. Now this is the area where we don't want to create any really strong face frame or angle or anything like that. So watch, I'm going to change my section to diagonal, and now I'm going to start to over direct back, but I'm still going to use the idea of going short to long, short to long, short to long, but I'm going to detach the hairline. When I approach fine hair, I really like zigzagging the entire hairline and leaving that out. You're not actually cutting that. Go through, do your shag, then drop everything down. If I zigzag, I'll take that, put in a ponytail with an elastic, do my shag, let go of everything. Now I'll take the elastics out, the ponytail out, and then what I do is I just start to adjust that length to match up to the shag. But what's happening by zigzagging, you're actually going in and you're allowing that perimeter to have some weight to it, especially with the density. You know, be a fashion designer with hair. Understand the fabric that you're working with, the limits and capabilities of the fabric. That's gonna keep you in control of what you can do and what you cannot do. Now watch what I'm gonna do here. I'm gonna work this short to long up on top because I want this hair to have a natural common tendency to move back. So that's why I immediately jumped over to this side. So I'm gonna go short to long. Watch when I release this, if she puts her hands through the hair, that hair is gonna just start to move in this direction. So you just need to know the angles. Once I understand the angles and the why behind the angles, the how is much easier. So once you remember what I just said, I'm gonna drop out that area. That's very dense there. I'm gonna drop out a little bit more. See how I'm gauging on what I see? Now I go my next diagonal back section. Now I stand on this side. I still want the chaos, that controlled chaos that I'm creating, but now what I wanna do is stand on this side. So I come through and I take that. And I'm only gonna do these two sections here. Now watch, when I release this, look at how I'm getting just this layered, soft layered effect, but I'm not affecting the existing of what she has. Very fragile client. I wanna make sure that I understand this is about not me doing all these creative things. It's about me, yes, taking a different approach because that's what I believe is important, for me anyway, but I also think that I've gotta take into what are the needs and expectations of the guest that's sitting in a chair. Okay, look where I'm standing now on this side. I want short to long going back. So when she runs her hands through it, that top surface has a natural common tendency to move back and away from the face. I'm not going to put any face framing in this. This is much more of an interior exercise in terms of what I'm doing. Okay? Any questions out there? Yes, you, my dear. Oh, if it was natural curly hair, what would I do? It would depend upon the amount of curl that I have. So I probably wouldn't be using a razor. I could certainly shift it going from one, but depending upon how strong the hair is, I might shy away from it. Like coils, I don't think this would be the best thing to do with coils. So once again, it goes back to that, what I was talking about, understanding the fabric, its limits and its capabilities. This is the last section I'm doing, so I stay fragile around that front hairline and I stay fragile around that fringe area. Okay. Now see how cool that worked in just terms of, you know, when she sat down and now looking at this. All right, Morgan, go ahead and stand for me. Let's stand up, okay. Now watch, look at when she touches it, okay. You see how that just gets frothy? It just has that puffed volume. Right now, it's, what is this? This is, April 2025. In Fashion Week, we were seeing a lot of these puffiness, softness, straight, then all of a sudden puffs and long sleeves going over these ladies' hands. It's like, how do they see their hands? But it's like something straight and then all of a sudden volume. I think we're gonna see volume move down lower. Okay, you're gonna see puffy volume, maybe just sitting here, then it's narrow, and then it gets strong at the bottom. And these are just things, I love looking at fashion as a sense of inspiration in terms of what it is that we do. Let's turn around and show them the back. Notice I'm working with my hands. You know, she could work with a brush, she could certainly do that. If I have this brush, and that's tangles right there, what I want to teach you is, a paddle brush is great to get tangles out, but what you don't want to do is hold the brush horizontally and go in after it. You're going to put the tangles in deeper. So now when I look at the brush, I hold it horizontally. Those pins coming out of the cushion of the brush are not lined up. But watch this, let's put the camera in slow motion. turn. Now look at how all the pins are not lined up vertically. So now that gives you an opportunity to slide through any tangle. So I'm going to tilt it so that I'm holding and just going to work with a couple front rows of that. And then I'm going to come through. I'm not even going to grab her hair. I'm just going to do this, and I just start from the bottom and work out. And you can see I'm not pulling on her. I am not pulling on her versus me going in horizontally with the brush. So let's just brush through it, and you tell me if you can see where that layer starts and where it actually ends. And that's what I love about taking this concept of what I call shift cutting, and just shifting your angles in each section. Elevations vertical, angle diagonal, short to long, and then opposite direction, short to long. So once again, a real great story. Those people that say, you know, I want some volume, but I don't want a lot of layers. Layers kind of scare me. Automatically, I start shifting the haircut. I want to thank Morgan for taking her time and being with me. It's people like this who make it happen for you and me. And remember, at Sanvia, your progression is our obsession. Thanks, Morgan.
Not a problem. Thank you.